How do I find that spark? How do I find that fire? The disease afflicting most men in our modern culture is mediocrity. Mediocrity, hands down. I've trained over 20,000 men over the last 2 years. And what most men say when they come into me is that I'm just not living my highest purpose. I'm not living my best self. My full capabilities, my full energy isn't in play. How do I do that? How do I do that? How do I find that spark? How do I find that fire? Because right now, I'm living middle of the road. Things are okay. And when I'm really honest with myself, I spend a lot of my time in distractions, checking out, watching TV, watching porn, doing the things that we guys do, that we know we do, looking at all kinds of nonsense online, following things we shouldn't follow, wasting hours and hours a day when there's things that we really want to be doing still in play. You know, the guys that come into Man for Man are really focused on changing the pendulum from the negative spin cycle of limitation, thought, limitation of fear, distraction of behavior over into positive behaviors. It takes work, but it must begin with a conscious effort, a choice to make the switch. And when a guy comes into our groups, says, you know what? I'm kind of ready. I'm done with this kind of living middle of the road, distracting myself, living mediocre. And I'm ready to explore something different, right? I'm ready to explore what it might be like to take on my side hustle, what it might be like to spice up my relationship or find a relationship that's worth waking up about, or what it might be like to get yourself in amazing shape. You know, we have guys that come in here that are 50, 55, a lot of guys that are younger, but guys that are 50, 55 that are like, you know what? I've lost this body. I have no energy. I wake up, I drink coffee, I'm on my phone, and I don't do crap to treat myself well. I have no energy. You talk about living your highest purpose. I have no energy. And they come in here, and often the thing that they take on is their physical body, their routines, their exercises, their stuff. And I have guys right now that are running marathons, that are running triathlons in their mid to late 50s because they've made the conscious choice to take it on. And when you do that, when you take one thing on, like your physicality, or your work, or your money making, or your relationship, you take one thing on to start and you do it really well, and you start to shift it from the inside out, all the other areas are also affected. That's why guys in our groups and our circles are doing so well. But you know what? Doing this for so long and with working with men, and I'm talking to you because you know you're watching this with a hint of judgment, with a hint of cynicism, a hint of who does he think he is? Where I've heard all of this before, and I'm not going to go ahead and engage with these guys or whatever it is that he wants me to do. I'm going to sit here by myself watching YouTube videos, trying to take in all the information as I want to. Therefore, never putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation, which is what it takes to grow. The guys that come in here do something that I call the yes moment, where they put their hand up and say, yeah, you know what? I need a little help. I want to turn my life around. I want to be on fire and be full of energy and be healthy and be vibrant and have all these creative ideas flowing. And I actually don't know how to do it. Okay. Or I don't know how to structure it and put a system in place by which I can see my future as being different, where it almost becomes predictable that I'm successful in these areas. That's a fun game to play when you think about your future becoming predictable, right? But you got to put your hand up first and say, you know what? I need a little help. I need a little assistance, and I need a little community. I need people around me that are also doing the same thing that I can support, and they can watch me and hold me accountable. You know, as men, we have thousands of years of history where we help each other go through these transitional moments. It's in every culture. It's in every religion. As men, we come together, we sit by fires, we talk, we go through physical processes to actually help us transition into a next level in our own life, in our own evolution, right? It's been virtually stripped away in modern culture. That's why most of us are sitting there with these mediocre lives, suffering silently, suffering internally, living with what I call the lone wolf syndrome, just doing it myself and not having anyone to really turn to until we say yes. And when we say yes, there are things out there. And what we do is not the only thing. Really, what this is a wake-up call for guys to say, you know what? I do need help. I need to find a group. I need to find a community. I need to find a philosophy or a series of practices or some foundation that I can latch onto that can help me get to the next level. And when you do, your life changes. Because for men, once we say yes, which is the big hurdle, the hurdle of coming over that cynicism, that judgment, whatever it is you might be feeling about me, like, oh, who is this guy saying all this stuff, right? Whatever that is, getting through and be like, you know what, like, forget about that. This is my time. I'm ready to do something. And then things open up and you start finding stuff and you engage with something like man for man or something else that you might find. I don't even care. What I care is that you say yes, because I know that we're different than women this way. Women, it's much easier for them to kind of commit and jump in and find a community and share openly. For guys, we kind of sit back and we watch and we observe until we make a decision to do. But the good news is that when we do, as men, the masculine energy is very good. And once he says yes to achieving serious outcomes in a short amount of time, that's why the guys in our groups often feel coerced by coming in, but then they come in and then a month later, 2 months later, it's like, boom, their whole life has changed because we follow directions really well and we get results really well. Once we can trust something and we know that there is a path, a direction, a journey that has been predetermined, that we know works by looking at what other guys have done, we can latch onto it and we just do it ourselves and we make it our own. Okay. So that's the wake-up call. The wake-up call is flat. We as men in our modern world, no matter what your situation is, you may be a billionaire, you may be looking for a job. Okay. I don't know. Or you may have, a huge family, or you may be single looking for a partner. Doesn't matter. What we share in our modern world is a layer of mediocrity where we have become okay by living under this false bubble that enough and medium living is okay. It hurts us. It pains us. There's something in us that wants to be great, that wants to push, that wants to strive, that wants to explore what it's like to bust through that invisible bubble, to actually see what's on the other side. What am I made of? Like, what is possible when I really focus my gaze on the ultimate potential of my being, of my talents, of my gifts? What is that like? Right? Just that gaze, just that turn opens things up. And then, like dominoes, you start to find the right support. Okay. So say yes, brothers. If there's one thing that I implore men to do in this world when they hear something like this, is to say yes. You see me tap my chest. We do this thing in our groups where we tap our chest to remind ourselves. We say yes, to feel our bodies, to feel our energy, that we have power to change the trajectory of our lives, but it must begin with yes.